Hey, what's up, guys? It is your boy Lejar. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to the first episode of the Blessins to Lessons podcast. I have my two friends here. We've got Michael and Monzi, otherwise known as Sauce. And so today the topics are coming to the show. And one of the major topics from what I've been discussing with these guys is the idea of figuring out life as a young adult. And I don't know, you know what? It's been an interesting path on our journey just to this spot right now. And I don't know, guys, what do you feel like has kind of got us all to this point right now where we're talking, we're having a conversation, and we're looking at life in a weird, different spot now?
Partially, I'd have to say alcohol. it has to be alcohol to a certain extent. Because when I think about how I met you, literally it was through mutual friend O'Shea.
Yeah. And
I met O'Shea at Shisha when I was like drunk already, and then I carried on drinking with him. And I ended up in the hospital that same night.
Oh wow!
And I have a scar on my knee as a memory.
Bro.
Forever, that kind of thing. So that was like what started it, and that was 2 years ago now.
Right.
To now meeting you at one session at Shisha.
Yeah. And now we're literally sitting here doing a podcast, guys. Man. So it's like, it's a weird one. Yeah. And then Monzi, how did we meet, Monzi?
Oh my days. How did we meet?
Oh my God. Bro, it was Croydon College, bro.
It wasn't Croydon College because I didn't go Croydon College.
No, but I met you, you were just chilling outside. You were just like, she was just chilling outside. I was like,
bruv, I don't just chill outside college.
No, we were young, innit? I must have been like 16 or 17. Yeah. And then Monzi was just chilling there. She was probably doing something creative, like some sort of creative project.
I was filming. Was it Reese? How I met
you? Oh, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been. I think it was for Reese, actually.
Yeah. So he's a photographer, fashion designer.
He's more like, fashion designer.
He's a creative as well. Yeah. We need to get him on here. But so I met Reese. Then obviously I met Lala, and then we just basically connected. And obviously you was into photography and fashion. And obviously I was into videography, photography. And obviously that brings us here today. And it's been nothing but elevation.
And you know what it is? It's like I realize in this shift of my life, it's just so interesting figuring out the stuff that we didn't learn. You know what I mean? Especially when we were growing up, we kind of thought life was, a little bit more calm and collected and breezy. And then you get to this age, you're like, where am I, bro? Like, why am I paying all this money for travel, bro? And like food, like there's so many things that I kind of discovered about myself, in terms of just like how dedicated am I to do something? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like how dedicated am I to be creative, network with new people, talk to, you know what I mean? Like for example, we met in the Shisha once, and then now we're sitting here doing a podcast. And then Monzi, it was years ago that we met. And it's kind of like, wow, like all of that led to this kind of point here where now we're sitting having a conversation, talking about figuring our life out as adults. And it doesn't even feel like I've changed. Like for a lot of the time that I was alive, it's like it didn't even feel like I was genuinely growing. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I was growing up. And then now I'm at this point, I'm 25 now, guys. I feel like, oh shit, I got to get my stuff figured out. My life is like, oh damn. And then it's kind of interesting seeing that you guys, I seen her from literally years ago, and now big old woman, lady, artist. You know what I mean? And then I met this guy pretty much last month, and now we're having a conversation and talking about some deep facts and just crazy things about lives. And it was really weird. Like the other day we were at the shisha bar, and this man had showed me a tattoo, bro. And it was, what was it?
Oh yeah, it's a 777.
And where does it come from?
Because my dad, my sister, and my niece all have birthdays on the 7th. So that's like my lucky number now. And
then we both found out that basically my birthday is also on the 7th. So it's like one of those really weird coincidences that we just so happen to like, come through. Let's discuss what we're going to do on the podcast tomorrow. And then boom, we found out all these weird kind of facts and
it was crazy the way we
had conversations on other topics as well. So what do you guys think in terms of like individuality? Like as yourselves, I know Monty, you know, you've got a very strong persona, very, very strong character, and you as well. I'm sure that you're probably also very defined of who you are. Everyone here has, you know, built up a personality throughout the age, you know, when you guys have been alive, basically. What do you feel like a lot of the things that are missing right now throughout most of our like generation and our age group? What do you think that we miss in those situations?
Can I go?
Go.
I think the one thing that we're missing in terms of this generation is belief. And obviously, I say that to say, I think a lot of people, you can believe in something, but believing in yourself will allow you to then find yourself and be embedded in yourself. And then I also think as well, because of social media, people see, okay, this is what's trending, this is what I need to be like. When actually, you do not need to be like that. You need to be the opposite in order for you to flourish as an individual and as like an innovator. Yeah.
What about you, Michael?
I think I struggled with really seeing who I was, like all through like, because I'm only 20, but all through like secondary school, I was proper struggling. Like because I was involved in so many fields, I didn't really know like what I was doing. Like I was playing sports, but I was also doing like performances, like in like musicals and stuff. And then there was like a group called Gifted and Talented, which was like when they got like the smartest people in the year. And I was also in that bit. Yeah. So I was covering fields, but I was just like wandering through it.
Yeah.
So
it's like you're still figuring yourself out, obviously. Yeah.
Only in college did I start to really accept the kind of person that I am. But I feel like a lot of people still haven't accepted.
100%.
They actually are. So now they're still wondering around like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Literally.
I think, you know what, with me, for example, like discovering who I was and like discovering what kind of person I wanted to be, I had a lot of trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? That's kind of really why I wanted to make this podcast, Blessings to Lessons, because I had to go through a lot of lessons and be through a lot of blessings to kind of understand who I really wanted to be. And I think one of the biggest things was I didn't know what I wanted to be for so long, bro. I knew in the back of my head, but in terms of actually discovering what I wanted to pursue in life, it was just a roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like, and through the things that I had to go through, like the trials and tribulations of like me going through cancer, me going through like school, growing up in South London, and then going to live in Canada, and you know, all these different things. I was like confused. A lot of the time I was confused. I'm like, how do I follow this path? How do I figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life? And it sometimes for a lot of us young people, it's such a daunting thought to think about. Like, what do I want to do and be for the rest of my life? Who do I want to create? And for a long time, I was confused. A long time, I had lost my way. You know what I mean? After cancer, I thought I was just this strong warrior, not realizing all the things that were actually putting me down were things that I wasn't looking at. It was like I put a lot of the stuff that I wanted to be and who I wanted to embody at the back of my brain, because I felt like acting this kind of way, being this kind of person, like I was a bit of a fuckboy, let's be honest. Monzi, you remember?
I don't think you was, you know.
I was a fuckboy. Oh,
I don't think you were.
I was not good. No, Monzi, don't chat.
No, but
don't chat.
But from my perspective, I wouldn't think you were.
But okay, look. Let's just say I wasn't.
He's making himself, guys. So
I don't care, bro. This whole podcast is about accountability, yeah. So I'm gonna take accountability for what I have done in the past and who I was. But yeah, like, you know, I lost my way. I lost who I genuinely wanted to be. And I thought, you know, by acting a certain type of way, it's going to give me this sort of status, or it's going to give me this kind of perspective on life that's going to allow me to get into a different echelon of what I deem to be successful. And then I realized, like, if anything, I was straying away from who I genuinely was. You know what I'm saying? And then I thought, bruv, oh man, I like only recently in this last year have I kind of discovered, like, I don't want to be that person that I was in my old ways, and that past version of me, because that person wasn't getting anything done. You know what I mean? It's like actually taking all the things that you know are negative about you and looking at them eye to eye and being like, I don't want that to be a part of me no more? Do you ever guys feel like that? Do you ever feel like you know you're doing something wrong? You know what you're doing right there and then. It's like, oh no, man, I know I need to change this, but you do it anyway. That is the part that like I feel like, oh my God, I need to take away, but it's so hard to kind of come to terms with that. Like, I have to change this, and I know it's going to be out of my comfort zone. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but let me know your opinion. Like right now, what do you think, Wanzi?
So for me, like a lot of people see me, obviously I do music, I'm into videography and stuff like that, I'm a creator, but a lot of people like when they see me, oh yeah, you're so confident, yeah, but I'm like, I actually have social anxiety. And people don't believe me. They're like, what? You out of everybody, like we would never. But it's like, if I'm comfortable with you, but I have to push myself. Like, you have to push yourself out of the comfort zone, otherwise you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow at all. But yeah, that's my perspective, like straight.
What about you, Michael?
There have been times in my life, a lot of times, where I've, just refused to see how wrong I was in a situation, I'd say. And what can I say? It's not as if it was like that long ago that I've like refused to see how wrong, and even back in like, let's say like March this year, I've refused. But I'm kind of trying to come to terms with the fact that I can't just believe that I'm never wrong in a situation. Like, I can't not that I'm never wrong, but that I'm not as wrong as the other person is making out to be.
Yeah.
So I'm still very much working towards taking accountability.
I mean, you're young, bro, as well. So I mean, like, honestly, you're further than I was at your age, bro. I was numbnuts, bro. I was just, oh yeah. I thought I knew it all. So I mean, I'm glad that you've taken that step that I wasn't able to take at your age, And I think, one of the biggest things is like, it's really weird. Like, taking accountability for your own actions can be so. There's a lot of friction that's put there by you. It's not it's not by anyone else. It's literally by yourself. It's like your old self is refusing to change, and it's like you think it is. It's like you think it's just you, but no. There's different parts of you that don't want change because it realizes that part is never going to exist again if you do change. You know what I'm saying? It's that part is like, oh, I wanna stay and do this. I wanna just keep spending money, or I wanna just keep using these bad habits and this bad attitude to cause me all the. And then you realize they're not good for you, man. They're not good. And actually, like, going on an offset of that, bro. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but like for me, I know a lot of the bad habits I got were from like generational pass downs, like generational traumas and things that like I saw my family do. And like it's like even attitude towards money, like the attitude towards money, the attitude in terms of emotions towards your family members. And it's like, bro, like, why do I have this quality that I don't necessarily want, but I have? Like, why do I have that? Why is it that I refuse to acknowledge that is a part of me? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, 100%. I don't know, Monty. I know you've gone through some stuff, and like, it's like it's a lot, innit?
Yeah, it is. So obviously, I'll touch on like the bad habits. I know I've got a lot of I have a few bad habits anyway that I'm still trying to break out of, and obviously it's a process. You're never gonna, like, even if you write down your bad habit, you're never gonna stop it straight away. It's a process. Like, with a process, there's progression. But for me, one of the things that I would say, one of the habits that I was really confused about, obviously when I started learning more and gaining more knowledge, was money, financial literacy. Crazy.
Like, it is, bro. Oh my God.
The stuff that I was obviously taught or not taught.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. When you think about it, it's crazy. But yeah, some of the stuff, like, for example, and I'll just throw this out there, like an emergency fund.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've come from a single parent or a single mother.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
Yeah, background. And so when it came to like an emergency fund or financial literacy, that was something that I never really witnessed growing up. And then obviously I've witnessed a lot of like, how do I explain, situations that basically I don't know how to say, like, you've provided yourself a shortfall because you didn't have an emergency fund, or having to borrow money from family members or friends, which is not a bad thing. Like, if you've got people that are out there that love you and they're down for you, absolutely. But I feel like you should always be, like, patterned to a certain extent.
For yourself.
For yourself. So that even if you do shortfall, okay, you've got a little emergency fund there. Obviously, me growing up now, like, I'm 24 going 25 next year. Like, I've had to have an emergency fund. Investments as well, like, that's something I wish I would, like, I had parents to kind of say, oh, invest now so then later you can reap, do you get it, like, dividends, you can get money back, and just things like that. But I've had to teach myself reading books. There's a few books that I read. So there's Black Girl Finance by Selena Flavius, I think, and The Rules to Wealth by Richard Templar, and I'm currently reading How to Please Yourself and Not Other People. I can't remember the name. I think, is it Rach? I can't actually remember her name, but yeah, those books have really helped you. But it's just, like, it's brazy, but it's hard because how do you teach yourself when you haven't been exposed to it?
Yeah.
How? Like,
I think that's one of the biggest things, though. It's like teaching yourself these things that haven't been in your orbit is like, it's like trying to shoot an apple from a mile away and you've never had a bow and arrow before. You know what I'm saying? Even if you had a strap and you're trying to shoot that, you're not going to hit it because you've never done it. But it's like, for me, finances have been a big problem in my life. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of these bad habits be passed down from, seeing my family members not know how to like effectively save or create more income for themselves, because it's either they refuse to acknowledge that the income is there, or they say that, hard work is going to get you. Like, don't get me wrong, hard work will get you a little bit of money and income and, but it's not going to allow you to gain the skills that is going to push you to reach where you'd want to reach, to be at least comfortable. And it's like, I've seen struggle all my life. And it's like, now I'm like, I don't want to continue that. I don't want to be that same person that has been working their entire life to just get the sliver of something that other people are actually putting in the smart work, not just the hard work, but the smart and hard work to figure out how they can create something that is going to eventually give them back dividends, something that's actually going to provide them with the wealth that they want, because they're passionate about that. And I see them, like, I've seen my family members, for example, like, just save, but never invest. Things like that. And spend, but never, not take a step back and think, okay, that's too much. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? And you see it when you grow up. You see, oh my God, like, oh, it's fine. They seem to be doing fine. But realistically, you looking at it, and you're like, no, they're still struggling.
Can I just interject? So in terms of what you said, like, witnessing as well, like, family members save.
Yeah.
What are you saving for?
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
What are you saving for? I've watched a lot of podcasts and, like, come across a lot of videos, like TikTok reels and stuff. Yeah. And, like, there was this one guy, I can't remember his name, but he basically said, there's no point saving, start investing, because saving, especially, it's like they say, if you spend with no aim, like you just said, you've witnessed family members just spend. What are you spending for? You're not celebrating success. You don't have anything to celebrate. You're just spending. But it's like, why are you saving? What is the purpose? But then also, saving isn't going to really do you anything. You're not going to get, like, a large return on savings. You can put $500,000 into a bank. What's the likelihood that you're going to even get more than, let's say, 20% of that at the end of the year? Invest.
It? And the thing is, I don't know, what's your opinion on it, Michael, as well? In terms of just, like, seeing the finances and, like,
the thing is, when I started universities, when I saw what, like, loans are, because as far as money goes in my family, it's like almost like taboo.
Yeah.
So, like, because I'm the youngest as well, everything was, like, hidden from me. Like, if my family was struggling, they would never let me know. Well, they never let me know. They never let me know any situation that we're in. It's just like, oh, you're the youngest, so whatever happens, you just go with it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to be able to learn from you guys if you guys are hiding
such things from
me.
Of course, yeah.
And then even in schools, in schools they weren't like teaching about.
And I was gonna touch on it. I think it's like, bro, the biggest problem I feel like is like they know that when we get to older age, like because they haven't taught us none of that, not how to get your credit score up, not how to understand what loans are, not how to understand what borrowing and all of these different things are. Like it's like, bruv, you could learn this. It's quite easy to learn. You don't realize how easy it is to like up your credit score, but they do that on purpose. They teach us all this other rubbish to flood our minds with all this, and then we realize, bro, none of that I'm not really using. You know what I mean? If they were teaching us about taxes, they were teaching us about how to understand like those said taxes, understand how to manage your finances, understand how to invest, you know, use loans, mortgages. If they had taught us any of that, we would have been able to retain a lot of that information till today. You know what I mean? And at least it would have been useful information. Yes, English, maths, okay, cool. But like the other things that you don't necessarily...
I mean, some things in maths, because I know Pythagoras theorem right now. And not once have I been able to...
No, but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. But like... you know the Pythagoras theorem. Yeah. Imagine if they taught you the key to understanding credit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would have remembered that.
You would have, exactly. And the thing is, they know not to teach us that because they want that. The goal is to get us to go to like a university, rack up 50 bags in student finance, and then we're paying that for the rest of our lives. Pretty much like 25 years of our lives, paying off a sliver of this student finance. What, for 3 years of your life to pay off for the next 20? Dude, like, it is literally a scheme. It's like, yo, you know, like, I wish I never went to university because, first off, I never got my degree. And it's like, I went there mostly for a social experience. And I could have, the course I was doing, bro, it was film. I could have done that anywhere, bro. You know what I mean?
I could have. That makes no sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I could have done that as an apprenticeship. I could have found, you know, how to be a runner and then started building up in that field. And only after the fact I realized, okay, no, I messed up because I was just so enamored with the idea, I'm going to go to university. That's how success is created. Because all I'm told from my family and the government, you have to go to university. You have to get a degree and you have to be successful with that degree. Bruv, you can barely get a retail job if you don't have a degree, fam. I saw in my life. There's some things that you're like, you can't even get into your own profession, bruv.
I would say as well, yeah, when it comes to university, I think as well, quickly, just touching on what you were saying earlier about like, if anything was happening in your family and them not like touching on it, I don't see why. And I don't know, where are you from, sorry?
I'm from Zambia.
I think, and I don't know if it's the same, obviously, with your culture, but I think with black culture, when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to even things like struggling, there's always this kind of ideology of stay out of big people's business. That kind of, this conversation's not for you, you're a little...
Our cultures are kind of similar,
do you
bro.
get
so
it?
in my life, yeah.
And for me, it's like, no, if you actually opened up and had those conversations, I would be a few steps ahead in life.
As an adult, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I feel like that mentality is keeping us backwards for generations, because the more you say,
what's that? It's the generational trauma that we're talking about.
Generational trauma.
They hindered that information. They gatekeep that information because they realize like, it's not that they realize, it's that they don't realize that has a significant impact later on in our lives. Because it's like, now we might be doing that to our kids, or we might be so ununderstanding of what we're actually doing to our children that it's just like they're following the same path. It's calm. We're not gonna show our kids the money management skills. Fuck it, you know.
My message to, I would say, black parents or just parents in general, like whatever culture, be open-minded. And I think as well, the reason why a lot of parents don't want to talk about things is because it then ignites something in them where they can improve.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents have this ideology that because I'm the parent, I'm always right. No, you're not. No. Hence, because if you was, you wouldn't be struggling, or you wouldn't shortfall.
That's it. Like,
do you get it?
And I think, for example, like Filipino culture is very, very similar. I feel like, I don't know. It's weird because in our culture, it's like the women make the money, right? And the men are the ones who stay at home. They get fat. They start drinking beer, smoking, and then it's like the women are only making the money, bro. And I see, and then the thing is, the women keep the money, and then they send it back home, and it's like, okay, understandable. But the men, they just spend because they're not working towards the same goal as the woman is. And it's like, I saw that, and I was seeing that dynamic, even in my own family and other people's families as well. And it's like, this is how bad habits get started from a young age. Imagine seeing your dad, your dad is just out here wasting, just chilling, like buying alcohol, buying cigarettes and smoking and watching TV all day. And it's like, bruv, like, but my mum is like, she's working hard. She's working her arse off as a nurse. A lot of the Filipinos, they're working as nurses or as like, what do you call them? As like not maids.
Jeez, it was just in my head.
No, what is it called?
Nurse.
No, they look
deliver
after
the
kids.
Babies.
No, midwives, but also they also take care of kids, yeah. And they travel to like Saudi Arabia, to like Dubai, to go take care of nannies. Yes. Oh, okay. Bare Filipino families, women are nannies, bro, or nurses, and what happens is like they're sending all this money that they're earning for it to be wasted by a lot of their family. Imagine you're sending all this money to be wasted by a man who's just sitting on there drinking. And I saw that growing up. That put bad habits in me in terms of like how I was trying to grow up to see how to be a man, funnily enough, yeah.
Can I land quickly? Just obviously on a side note of that, yeah, on a quick thing, you don't know what the reason is. Like if you did witness that, like let's say for example your dad and his behaviours, sometimes, and this is something that I even had to, like I learned this last year, like I rekindled with my dad, which I'm not gonna lie, it's been the most like maddest blessing, like and it's crazy. Like this podcast just aligns with everything we're saying, cause and everything that I've kind of been through. Like with my dad, obviously he wasn't around in my childhood, but then obviously I've had, let's say like a 10-year gap where there was no information given to me. I kind of was not blaming myself, but you know them ones when like, for example, my mum might say like little comments like, oh yeah, like where's your dad, like, or I'm here kind of thing. And in my head I'm like, okay, obviously not painting my dad in a bad light, but it's just like, okay, but why did you leave? Like why did you struggle with drink, or why did you struggle, you had an addiction, but why? Like, and obviously now these conversations have been had, and I don't blame my dad at all.
No,
because I feel like, yeah, take accountability. Obviously no one told you to go and do something. However, some people, they just struggle to cope, and their coping mechanisms are different. Me, I'm not gonna lie, when I'm stressed I eat junk food. People might say, oh, but then okay, let's say in a year's time, whatever, something happens to me, but it's like, you kind of have to understand why people do things and be open-minded as well. Like, obviously, we're older now, so obviously you're going to understand more. But I think, it's mad. Like, why do our parents have these behaviours?
Yeah.
Do you get to the root of the problem? Like, a lot of parents, they're still dealing with trauma they haven't healed.
Yeah.
Why haven't you healed?
And what do you, in terms of accountability, even for ourselves, for example, like, I think it's weird you said that about your dad, because it's like, it's also seeing like, for example, my grandpa, right? And it's like my grandpa, he's got all these really, really bad habits. You know what I mean? He's just like, it's like, where did they come from? And it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, yo, this guy is frustrating me. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't clean up after himself. You know what I mean? Doesn't know how to spend his money. Oh, like when you tell him not to drink, even though it's bad for his health, he still drinks. And, all these other things, it infuriates. Like me, for example, like, it's like, yo, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, you're killing yourself. Like, you're doing things that you know are bad for you, and you still continue to do them. And it's like, for me, I'm like, why? And like, at first I'm frustrated, and then I have to kind of take a step back and I'm like, oh, like, this man has never seen a person go above and beyond, like, as a man. Like, he's probably never seen a male figure, because of the culture in the Philippines, a male figure rise up and be that masculine person who's like, and I think he's got anger issues. And I realized where I was getting my anger issues from. You know what I'm saying? And I was realizing what I was doing wrong, because I started seeing him like, oh, okay, he's not that adult I used to think he was when I was growing up. You know what I mean? If anything, he's a man who's like a teenager. He's stuck as a teenager, but he's an old man now, because he's not grown, like, emotionally. He's not developed because he's been kind of hindered in his life by the experiences that he's only seen. And it was like, bro, like I can't be that. You know, it was like almost taking accountability for the fact that I was that, you know, turning into a version of him that I didn't want to be. And I saw things that he was doing that I thought, okay, I need to change this, man, because I don't want to live that life where I'm constantly just high, you know, in terms of where I'm always high thinking that my life is perfect right now. Like he's content with being in a place which isn't good. But yeah, sorry, I know, you're not itching.
No, I'm itching. No, because it's when you see it personally, like it's just a different type of experience. And obviously, you seeing that basically firsthand, but secondhand, because obviously it's not you. I feel like at least you've got something that's it sounds mad, but that is inspiring in a way because you know what you don't want to be like.
Yeah,
you've got something to kind of measure, like, okay, you know in your head that, okay, this something about this isn't right. But then I just feel like also with your grandpa, like maybe back home or when he was younger, maybe there was certain things that he witnessed, and maybe he witnessed with his father the same thing, so he thinks it's okay. How is this kind of question of how are you supposed to know if you haven't been taught? How babies, they don't just get up and walk.
Yeah.
You teach them, come on. You put like an object in front of them so they can crawl towards it. You teach them. So if an adult, and it sounds crazy, but a lot of adults haven't been taught things. Some of us, we've been taught things that are bad, and we've then had to, whilst being taught that bad thing, we've then had to unlearn that bad thing because it's going to hold us back, and then we've had to relearn. So imagine that whole process of learning.
And it's a long process.
It
really is.
Do you get it? And I just think, like, maybe it's a conversation we need to have with the older generation, but that's only if they're going to be open to accepting that conversation.
A lot of the time they're not. What do you think, Michael? I know you're seeing this as well, bro.
They're open for, or at least I can say for my parents, any sort of idea that I could possibly know something more than them. Shut down. Not given any sort of thought in it. It's like, oh, you're thinking of it? No. Stop.
It's like, just complete denial. Like,
there's no
what
way,
are you talking about?
There's no way of, you know.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, there's no way of doing that.
Oh, God.
But that's not the case, because like, we didn't live the exact same life. Like, I've experienced stuff that you haven't experienced, even though you are older than me. Like, I'm not, and that's not for me to say that you haven't experienced more than I have, because obviously you have, like, they were born in Zambia, they worked hard to get here.
Yeah.
But at that same time, you haven't experienced being born here and living here your whole life. Yeah. That's a completely different experience that you can't relate to.
No.
So there's certain aspects that I know more than you.
Yeah. But they will completely just cut you out, make you... And I think that's the most frustrating thing, is that, you know, they tell us not to talk back. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the time, your parents don't talk back. You don't know better than me. I know I'm older than you. You respect your elders. But then it's like, you don't... Like, it makes us believe when we turn into adults, we're like... this guy's trying to say it. Go.
I'm telling you, that is the reason I have such a problem with authority. I hate teachers. I hate teachers. I hate having a manager, like, for work and stuff. I hate it. Man, I hate just this idea of I should just respect you because you're older than me, or you're in a position of power. Like, no. And then, like, especially teachers as well.
And this is the thing. Oh my God.
Respect is earned. Respect is earned. But you're telling me that I should respect you from the very beginning. What do you mean it's earned? I just met you. You can't tell me that respect is earned at the same breath.
Exactly.
Tell me to respect you.
But then this is it. When we grow older and we've been told to respect our elders, don't talk back, it makes a lot of young people, a lot of these young adults, a lot more submissive. If you think about it, a lot of people who I know, they're afraid of being shouted at. They're afraid of being, told off. Like, I know people who are like still till this day, like, I'm afraid. I don't want to be told off. I don't want to discipline her. I don't want. And like, you're a grown man. You're a grown woman. Like, you have the right to be like, okay, cool. You don't have to shudder once you hear the footsteps of your manager walking, or someone who might be in another position of power, like a teacher. Like, you realize you're a human being as well. You're an adult. You can take control of how you react to these situations. But a lot of us throughout our childhood, we get implemented, like we get from young, like don't talk back. You're gonna get hit. You get a this, and you get the slipper. You get the belt, and that it rewires our brain at a young age to be like, okay, if we don't do what they say, we're gonna have a bad repercussion. You know what I mean? Whereas that's not life. That isn't life forever. And I think that's what changes from you being a young person, like an infant to a teenager to an adult, is that realization of being able to have your life in your hands and you choose how you react. You know, for a long time, even until this year, I reacted out of almost just pure emotion because I hadn't ever developed the skills of being able to rationally think about what I was doing. I was just like, okay, react once something happens. Not think of something, okay, that's not logical. Okay, I'm not going to think of that in an emotional way because it doesn't require an emotional response. What it does require is a logical response. And a lot of people that I see now, they'll react emotionally. Oh, I fucking hate that fucking manager, fucking dickhead. You know, who does he think he is to talk to me? Whereas it's like, you could have had a conversation with that manager. You could have been saying, look, I did not appreciate the way you spoke to me like that. And I would suggest, you know, that if you are to talk to someone else again, that you refrain from using that kind of vocabulary or that language or that tone. And you can react in situations like that. And it's a lot more respected than if you just snap and you act like a, you know, you try and act like the Hulk. And it's weird because we see this and it's like, yo, damn, that person's an adult. But no, like we all have the opportunity to do that. It's just how willing are you to see that?
I still need to work on that, to be fair.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you.
Definitely do.
What do you think in terms of taking accountability for your own actions?
I think...
And growing, learning to be an adult.
Yeah, I think in order for you to grow, you need to be accountable. Like, just touching back quickly, like backtracking on what you said about if you have an issue... basically like just sort it out there and then. Like myself, I've been in situations in the workplace and I wasn't happy with, it might not be what you've said, it's how you said it. I don't care if you're a manager, I don't care if you're assistant manager, I don't care if you're the head director. If I'm not okay, I'm gonna pitch that. I'm gonna tell you what I think. And I feel like for me, what stands you apart from everyone else is standing, like it brings me back to what you were saying about individuality, being yourself, being an independent person. Like, why am I scared to stand apart from you just because you're my manager?
Yeah.
Like, a title doesn't mean you're more experienced. And I was talking to my partner and he was saying to me, because obviously in his job as well, like he's obviously been like loads of places, many different like places. And he basically said to me, there was a manager that was just being really difficult, right, towards him. And he basically said that this manager had been working in the company for 20 years. Yeah, so 20 years. Whereas my partner he's got more like 20 years or 18 years worth of different experiences. Now, two of them have experience. One person has the same experience and my partner has 20 years of different experiences doing the same thing or many different things that this manager has been doing. So just because you are a manager, yes, it doesn't mean you're more experienced. You could have somebody who's younger than you by a decade, but they're more experienced. They could have done 2 months worth of different jobs. They've got 1 year experience, but of different experiences, which makes them more prone to being more experienced in the field that they are, the career that they're in. Whereas you have been somewhere for 1 year of the same experience.
What's that saying though, isn't it? It's a jack of all trades is better than a master of one. But some people say that a jack of all trades is not. No, it's not that. It's the jack of all trades isn't better than one. I can't remember what, bro. Don't quote me on it. I know, but you know what I'm saying. But actually, a jack of all trades is better than a master of one.
But I agree, but then you can disagree as well, because you can say, because even for me, I like music, I like videography, I like so many things, and I haven't mastered one thing. But why should I? Yeah. Why should I box myself into one thing? I think that's boring. I don't care who wants to agree or disagree. However, I've spoken, like even some of my friends, they say, but if you just focus on one thing and make sure that you're very strategic about that one thing, you can go further. I don't agree, because I feel like you get a lot of people, they do one thing, you're in that one career and you're not satisfied, you're still not happy. You still look unhappy. You get on the tube, people see your face, you're unhappy, you've got bags, you're not happy. Do you get what I mean? And so for me, I would say, if you want to be a master of one, or you want to be a jack of all trades, do whatever's best for you, but allow your creativity to flow. Sometimes I wake 100%. Up, I want to make music. Sometimes I wake up, I just want to do photos.
True.
Like, why must I wake up, I have to be this one thing? You don't have to be that one thing.
I think it also depends on the person as well. Like,
exactly.
It also depends on you. I feel like it's us as young people, we have to figure out what kind of person we want to be. It doesn't necessarily need to figure out exactly what you want to do, but just what kind of person you are. Do you want to just be that person who's very free flowing, like you're saying? Do you want to be that person who is quite rigid and has a structure, a routine, and just sticks to that one thing? Then if it works for you, it works for you. But if it doesn't, then look at other options. And the thing is, we do have a lot of choice in this day and age now. We don't realize how much choice we have. We've got so many options available to us as young people, especially living in the Western world. We have a lot of options and opportunities that we can seize. But it's like we see only the small sliver of what we focus on rather than the bigger picture, which can be our biggest downfall, because people in other countries, third world countries, are probably looking at us with, oh my God, I wish I had a MacBook. I would have changed my life already. You know, not all of them, but a lot would be like, I could change my entire life with just a tiny camera. And like, we've got all this equipment that we can use and that is available to us, especially as creators. And it's like, it doesn't not just genuinely have to be creative pursuits. It can be anything. You know what I mean? If you want to go into banking and you just want to figure it out and like, how can I do banking? How do I become a lawyer? Figure it out. There's so many options. It's just like, how willing are you to learn? How willing are you to dedicate that part of your life to just being like, okay, I'm going to be that kind of person? Because not because other people have told me to do that and other people have swayed me in this direction, but because you said, I'm changing my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, it goes back to the individuality thing at the end of the day, like you said. And like you said, it was like, it's about being able to figure out yourself as an individual before, you know, you start just spending money, you know, wasting your finances. Because, you know, a lot of people, I think it all ties into each other quite, you know, interestingly, is that finances can be affected by the lack of understanding about the choices you want to make. Do you know what I'm saying? If you just be like, oh, well, I'm you know, yeah, brother. And it's like,
I spent money on some things that were absolute nonsense because I thought that's what I wanted to do. Like, I bought a gaming capture card.
Oh.
For what?
Oh, yeah. You're just like, I'm going to use it, man.
Did you use it? Do I even game? Am I even good at games to be gaming?
Oh, jeez.
It was such a pointless purchase. Football boots.
Oh, talking of pointless purchases. Oh, my God. Oh. Go on. I'll tell you guys my story afterwards. Go on, man.
I think, though, you have to be equal with yourself. Like, okay, yeah, there might be some purchases. No, because I've got bad habits in it. Sometimes I purchase things, I'm like, I don't really need that. But at that moment, why did you feel like you needed that? Is it to treat yourself? A lot of people, you get a paycheck, you're giving money to everybody else, but you don't treat yourself first. Me, before I pay anything, I'm treating myself because I worked hard for my money. I worked hard for my money.
I understand that.
Whether you think later on, oh, why the fuck did I buy that? Or why did I buy those shoes? However, no.
You know what? Mine goes so much worse. Oh, no, you guys.
I hear you guys, but yeah, I think treat yourself in it.
I think very wisely about what you want to treat yourself with. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to tell a damn story, yeah. Oh my God, I regret it till this day. But I was with a girl, yeah. You know, she came over and visited me. And she wanted to go on holiday. I wanted to go on holiday as well. But I was just like, my mind was so focused on an object, yeah. This material possession that I wanted to buy. And what was it? It's a damn car, bruv. I bought this 1998 Toyota Celica, yeah, for a ridiculous, stupid amount. And like I said, like the excuse, I said, oh, I don't have any money to go on a holiday. Because I was like, all I saw was, oh my God, a car. Like I was like a child, bro. Oh, a car. I want this. I'm gonna look so cool. And then I'm like, oh no, I have no money for the holiday. And then the next day, man goes, I'm gonna buy the car. What? And like, imagine, and like, I look back on this and I'm like, oh my God, bro. Because now I've gone on actual holidays abroad, yeah. And I'm like, wow, the experience is amazing. Before, I'd never gone on a holiday abroad by myself or like with someone. And it was like, I had bought a car for $1,200, not realizing this thing is a liability, bro. A liability. It's not necessarily going to give me more experiences. It's actually going to cost me way more. I'm going to have to pay for road tax, insurance, have to pay for MOT, consistent like parts, pieces, servicing. Bruv, I was dumb. And I just went, I got money, so I'm going to buy a car. And then, bruv, obviously the girl, she's looking at me like, bruv, this guy is... What is wrong with him, bro? This guy's selfish, bro. And I was like, yo, now I see it. I'm like, I was damn selfish. And I know I really didn't break out of that mindset until like really this year, because I thought to myself, oh my God, I could have gone to like I went to Italy this year, yeah, for £54. £54, bro.
Do you know how much
what did you use?
Bro, I use EasyJet, yeah. I use EasyJet. Yeah, EasyJet and Airbnb. At max, I spent maybe £70. And back then, the flights were cheap. So when I bought the car, yeah, it was like 2019. So COVID didn't even happen yet. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to go buy myself a car. Looks so cool in my vroom. And I'm like, now, I'm like, yo, that was one of the most stupid mistakes that I've ever made. Because I thought to myself, oh, Lord. I could have gone on like 7 different holidays with that money, taking her on a nice holiday and everything, but I didn't.
Why did you buy the car?
£54.
Yeah, bro.
I went to Rome this year and I feel bumped. Like, I feel bumped.
Nah, bro. I went like one of them, you know, them EasyJet like secret destinations that like they go and they like bare people go from. And also I went to like Torino, innit? Where Juventus is. And I was like, yo, I need... But, bro, it was an experience. I still got the Italian experience. I went to Rome. The gelato, you know, the buongiorno.
I didn't even eat gelato,
you know?
I think it's because I've been to Italy 3 times now. I've been to like four cities. I've been to Bologna.
I've been to Italy about Milan, that time, yeah.
Rome, and then Rimini.
Oh, that's sick.
On the coast.
I've been... So we're gonna go back to what you were gonna say. No, I was like, I was at Rome, Sorrento, Capri, and and Torino. Obviously, Torino.
Butchered some of those.
Nah, man, I wish. No, but that's the thing. Like, I bought a car, yeah, where I could have gone with a girl on a holiday, and I just did. Oh, the car is money. Like, bro. Oh my God, it was so stupid, bro. No, I am 100%. Like, guys, I'm an idiot for that, bro. I am a fool for doing what I did. And I was just like, bro, and this thing started costing me bags, bro, because I wanted the car. I wanted a nice, fancy Japanese sports car. And it was just like, at the end of the day, bro, the car was a waste of money because it was incurring so much costs. It was just ultimately just a big liability for who, you know, down the line as well, for who I needed to be. Okay, people. Jeez, what are we getting into? You want to do a quick bars and that?
I got a little sign.
Bars.
Yeah, I got like 2 bars for you guys.
Okay.
What? You might as well do a beat then. Go on.
Let's do a beat.
Okay.
Should I put on a beat?
No, man, just do it with your hands.
Okay.
Or your beatbox be. Yeah, listen, you know we're Sosa. Yeah, shut up, get me. Ay. Look, Marge, kick me out the yard. You hope that I be struggling. God placed my dad back in my life, and now I be doubling. Straight grind, no cap, yeah, I get the hustling. Headed straight to the bag, yeah, there's no time to fumble it. Aye, you know, I be humbling. Can't tell me nothing, yeah, you see me, I ain't stumbling. What? I'm here with my bro, that's Lala. You can't tell me nothing, why in your teeth there's tartar. We didn't even touch.
That was hard, bro. That was hard.
I want to go again. That's so cold.
You want to go again?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to do a beat now.
What? But let's go.
I can't beatbox.
You can do beatbox.
Let's do it. You have to do one line. I do one line.
Huh? I can't do no lines, bro.
Shush.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Please,
just do something like. Just go.
Let's go.
Is it? Go on.
How do you
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on. You have to say your line.
Okay. Yo, welcome to the Blessings to Lessons podcast. Yo, it is now past and the episode's ending. Baby, can you tune into the next
session?
Yo, that was hard, guys. Yes, guys, thank you very much for tuning into the Blessings to Lessons podcast. We have my guest, Sauce.
That's SAUC3E, baby.
Ooh. And my brethren, Michael. Hey, so guys, if you want to tune in, follow, subscribe, and leave a comment. And tune in to the next episode next week. From your boy Lejar, I'd like to have a very, very nice thank you and a welcome to the podcast. Catch you in a bit. Peace.